Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta will today deliver the State of the Nation address from Parliament. And while the nation is waiting for that, Willy Mutunga yesterday indicated something which caught my attention. That if elections were to be held in this country today, the Deputy President, Dr. William Arap Ruto, will emerge the winner. Willy Mutunga's statement actually mirrors the outcome of several opinion polls. Most opinion polls are showing that if elections were to be held in this country today, the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, will actually emerge the winner. And personally, I want to believe that that's the case. Because one thing for sure we know is that the Deputy President has been campaigning for close to 4 years. His opponents have just started campaigning. But just like I keep on saying, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. What was the objective of Willy Mutunga's statement? Willy Mutunga is not an ordinary Kenyan. Willy Mutunga is a former Chief Justice in this country. Willy Mutunga made a ruling which is still being contested today during the 2013 general election. But what was his objective of making that statement? In my view, if you ask me, that statement was motivated by two factors. The first factor which motivated that statement, in my view, is that William Ruto is actually penetrating the civil society. The civil society in this country, for a very long time, always stood with Raila Odinga. But the moment Raila Odinga entered into the handshake with President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, that's the day he lost the civil society. And that's how I wanted to look at the fact that Willy Mutunga has taken the issue of Miguna at a personal level. So the truth of the matter is that Ruto, as we speak today, has the civil society. All the civil society are trying to lean towards William Ruto. Willy Mutunga was a Chief Justice who came from the civil society. In the civil society, Willy Mutunga is highly respected, highly valued. So which means his statement is actually meant to sway the civil society. And that's why he was saying that despite the fact that Ruto is a thief who has managed to acquire wealth, ordinary Kenyans are associating with him. So the first motivation, I think, is the civil society leaning towards Ruto. Number two could be the 2013 court ruling, Supreme Court ruling. During that ruling, Willy Mutunga is still being accused up to now of delivering a ruling which most Kenyans believe was not what it was supposed to be. In fact, David Maraga became a hero in this country because of the in-depth ruling he made in 2017, which dwarfed Willy Mutunga, while Willy Mutunga's entry into the judiciary was actually expected to bring the changes. So that ruling, up to now, Mutunga has not recovered. But he's blaming Raila Odinga, he's blaming ODM for the ruling. So in my view, if elections were to be held today, Willy Mutunga will cast his vote with the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto. And Willy Mutunga is raising certain issues, which in my view are probably true, while Ruto is ahead. The first reason he's giving is that William Ruto is delivering his messages properly to the people. On that, I agree. If you've been listening to the Deputy President and his speeches, they are well targeted. They are well researched. When the Deputy President is in Central Kenya, for example, he knows that the people of Central Kenya, the only way they can, you can make them hate Raila, you can make them hate Raila Odinga is to invoke 2013 unity and 2017 how those people voted, and then call Raila Odinga Mganga. Have you ever wondered why the Deputy President is calling Raila Odinga Mganga? The Deputy President is calling Raila Odinga Mganga because of the simple fact that President Uhuru Kenyatta employed the services of Cambridge Analytica in 2017. Cambridge Analytica projected or portrayed, that was what they did, portrayed William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta as God-fearing. That's the first thing it did. And then the country was projected as a prayerful country. Raila Odinga was portrayed as the opposite. A mganga, a devil. That's why, because that's what was instilled in the voters there. So his message is going on well. When he's in ODM stronghold, for example, he calls Raila Baba. And people listen to him. His messaging is very clear. When he's in Central, for example, it's very common to see William Ruto just buying things from ordinary Kenyan. You know, although most of those things are stage managed, but perceptionally, you see him doing it. So his messaging is proper. And that, so far, the Deputy President is doing so well. Number two, he's attributing this to advisors. I don't know much about William Ruto's advisors, but for a very long time, William Ruto was the alpha and omega in UDA. But sometimes last year, I think, late last year, he appointed a team of advisors. And probably if he's listening to these advisors, then they are doing a good job. But what I also know is that as an individual, William Samoei Ruto is just a good politician who understands what politics is all about. He's a guy who went to Moi Primary School, went to Raila Odinga Secondary School, and University of Life. Ruto ni mtu wa failed, wa wanja, japap. So he understands certain things. I don't know whether that can really be attributed to his advisors. But again, you can't take credit from where it belongs. If he's listening to the advisors, if the advisors are giving him sound advice, the better for him. What about Raila Odinga? Raila Odinga is the only guy in this country who has always had serious advisors. You could point out that this is Raila Odinga's advisor, this is Raila Odinga's advisor. I don't know what's currently happening to him, but in the last two elections, I know that Raila Odinga had professors, youths, everybody advising him. And this team used to meet at Capitol Hill. I think it must have been every Thursday or every Tuesday. He would meet this team to brief him. I don't know whether that's still happening. I don't know whether he's relying on the deep state. But if William Ruto's advisors are doing a good thing, then they're doing a fantastic thing. Number three is also saying that William Ruto is a listener. He listens. You tell him do this, he listens. Unlike Raila Odinga, unlike Musalia Mudavadi, unlike Kalonzo Musyoka. But you see, when you're a politician, you can't listen to everybody. But if someone is giving you a sound advice, then you listen, implement, then you'll see the success. So I want to assume that that's true, that Ruto listens to advice. If he's making a mistake, for example, there was a time William Ruto made this mistake of calling Luo's names, right? Ani watu kungua reli, wana nini. And his advisors, I know one of them from Luo, who is a friend, they raised the issue with the DP, and he told me the DP was very remorseful. That's why nowadays he's trying to only relate the stone throwing to Raila Odinga, not to a whole community. But of course, you can easily interpret it to mean the community. If you've been following William Ruto's politics in the larger Mount Kenya region, if you want to know that he's listening, initially, the people of the larger Mount Kenya region were accusing President Uhuru Kenyatta of delivering nothing. Then the president decided that I want to go to the ground, fix A, B, C, D. Today in this country, Central Kenya has achieved a lot. Their development projects, tangible. So whenever the DP is now in Central Kenya, he takes credit for those. While the people of Central Kenya were told some 2 years ago that the president has failed, they are now praising the president for success. So it means he's someone who is able to listen to what the ground is saying. And the other thing he's saying is that William Ruto is a mobilizer. I've never seen a politician who is able to mobilize crowd like Ruto. Raila Odinga and his rallies are normally full. you can't credit that to any mobilization. Like, for example, when Raila Odinga was in Nairobi, Embakasi East, on Sunday, he just went there. People were not mobilized. When people heard he was in charge, they prepared some roadshow. It was full. And they organized some impromptu meeting in Jacaranda grounds. It was full. Why? Because Raila Odinga is unique. He has certain kind of love, people who can do anything for him. But for the DP, he's actually investing in mobilizing people. He's reaching out to people. And that has helped him. For example, when Ruto goes to Central, to Coast, he's able to mobilize so many members of parliament. He's able to mobilize the MCAs. His team is able to mobilize the people to attend his events. That leads to what is called perception, because politics is all about perception. Once you have created that perception, then the better for you. But lastly, and the most important thing why Ruto is ahead is because of the fact that he began early campaigns. When he began that early campaigns, people like me were very doubtful whether the DP was going to sustain campaign for that long. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto has sustained campaign for 3 years or 4 years. I'm not even sure whether Raila Odinga would have sustained it. Yani campaigning for 4 good years. That he has done. Nobody else can do that. But what can Raila Molo do to catch up? Because if he's ahead, and we have how many months to the elections? We are going to the elections in August. We are in November. We are beginning in September. December next year, next month. So we have 9 months. What can Raila Odinga do within 9 months to overtake Ruto? What can he do? In my view, the first thing Raila must do is to revamp his communication team and develop new strategy. Raila Odinga's messaging is not really resonating well with the masses. That's the honest truth. The Nyeri governor pointed out something that history. People don't want history. I've worked with politicians, not at the national level, even now at the constituency level, maybe at the county level. One thing most voters don't want to listen to is a story mingi. They just want it to be short, brief, wapange laini, you give them money. So we've installed culture of handouts in this country. So you go to and explain to people your manifesto. I remember there was a time I was in which constituency, I just listen, take notes. Then the guy was trying to explain to people what he's going to do for them. Someone told him that please, no, if it's about manifesto, if it's about what, those ones tumeambiwa. There's nothing new you're going to tell us. Wewe, malizana na sisi. And that's it. So they must revamp their communication team and strategy. There are people who can be swayed by those history. As a matter of fact, you can't know your past without the history. Those history are good. But sometimes Harry Thuku, who died 50 years ago, you tell the people of Mount Kenya, itawasaidia nani. The second thing you must do is to identify key issues to address. Raila Odinga's campaign, as at now, when he talks, you can't really get the issues. So then he must go back, figure out, identify key issues. So when he goes to the coast, he must identify key issues. If it's land, what is the issue with the land? Because the issue of land has been told to the people of the larger coastal region for a long time. Maybe they're now tired. Maybe they want it to be packaged in a different way. And lastly is money. Money, money, money. Kama kuna nyoka kwa mfuko ya baba, baba uwe hiyo nyoka. Atumie pesa. You see, when Ruto was in Kisumu, publicly, in Kondala, he announced that he was giving the youth, the boda guys, 2.5 million. So most people thought that the border he was targeting was the border group in Kondela. It's turning out that his team had identified all border groups within the Kisumu County. And that money was given to each group. Each group ended up getting 5,000. Now, if each group ended getting 5,000, assuming each group had 10 to 20 people, so it means some group, each member got 250 or 500. So basically, that's just handout, right? Because I know in the villages, there are people who give them more than that. So basically, just give them handout. But publicly, what went out is that he used 2.5 million. That's how perception is created. I don't know what you think. Do you agree with Willy Mutunga that if elections were to be held today, William Ruto will definitely win? Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. Bye-bye.